Well, Alex, I can tell you that more people are entering the room as we get closer to the voting polls closing and finding out who the next mayor of our city will be. There's a lot of chairs open, and you can feel the excitement building in the room because obviously we are in the Hotel Fort Garry where supporters for Mr. Murray are coming together. Optimistic he's going to win. I'm going to slide over here. We're joined by David Hurford. He's the campaign manager for Mr. Murray. David, how you doing?
Great, doing great.
So, as a campaign manager, I'm curious, how do you talk to Glen Murray about, where you want to speak, who you want to speak to, what you want to speak about in a campaign?
Well, he talks to us. He's really in charge. Glen has been mayor of the city before. There's not a lot we can tell Glen about the city. Plus, he's really connected into voters. So, he's very keen to be accessible, wants to engage with voters. We've been on the street, all over the city over the last number of weeks, and it's been a lot of fun. So for Glen, he's got a good handle on what it takes to be mayor. There's a lot of people in the city who know him already. He's got a great network, and he does a great job of listening to them and then acting. So for us, it's a treat to work with him. He knows his stuff, so we don't have to do a lot.
In terms of, pledges and promises and conversations about the campaign, did you focus in on, one specific area over another? Were you trying to cast a wide net? How did you sort of navigate that?
Well, I think the budget and the fiscal plan was a key issue for voters. They want to know from each elected official, what they're going to do and how they're going to pay for it. And I think that's critical. And I think Glen's really set himself apart in that regard. He talked about understanding the pressures that the public is under regarding inflation and cost of living, to take a hold on the property tax for 1 year and really make the case to the provincial government that they need to do more. That 1% of the PST coming into the city would make an enormous difference for the city of Winnipeg. It's really just a rounding error for the provincial government. So I think if Glen is successful tonight, he will have a mandate, I think, to go to the provincial government with a broad coalition of labor leaders, of business leaders, of support from all across the city to really make the case to the provincial government that it's time for a new deal for Winnipeg taxpayers, instead of just going back to the old, just let's raise the property tax automatically. So I think that really set Glen apart. He's got a track record of getting successful arrangements with provincial and federal governments. I think that's something that sets him apart. None of the other candidates are even really contemplating that. So I think that was a big difference maker, and I think if Glen is successful, he'll be in a strong position with a mandate to really push for that change over the next year.
So for someone to end up in a position like you have, managing a campaign, can you take me and the audience through sort of how that came to be, how you ended up in this spot?
Well, a lot of us have known Glen for a long time, so we're good friends with him. We adore him. We understand, his strengths and what he can bring to elected office. I think Glen is a really unique politician in this day and age when we're so polarized. Glen is really unique in the country. He can bring Green supporters together with Conservatives, small businesses with big businesses, labor support, Indigenous support, young, old. It's a really broad spectrum, and it's a wide support across the city, not just in any particular region. So knowing that about Glen, it's just a real, treat to work with him. So when he asked you to get involved, loving the city, like we all do, we want to see the city better. And I think for us, it's an easy call to answer, to try and serve and to help Glen serve. So it's a real pleasure and an honor just to be involved in an election campaign. It's democracy. The people go out and vote, and we listen to that and we respect it. So it's really exciting to be part of an election campaign, and I encourage everyone to, get involved in their civic government. It's terrific.
Okay, well, thanks so much, David. We're going to continue hanging out here at the Hotel Fort Garry. Polls are still open for another hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, and we'll continue providing you with election coverage here.